The Ancient Magus Bride Season 2 is officially here, and for those who don't remember, Season 1, it aired a while back. I mean, I think Season 1 ended in 2018-ish, give or take, meaning we've been waiting like 5 years for this one. It's been a hot minute, and while I know the OVAs were a thing they've been going off and on for quite a while, Season 2 to me just really wasn't on my mind. I didn't think we would see it. I honestly was thinking we would never properly see it happen, and honestly, I'm happy to be proven wrong. As someone who is a big fan of the first season, I don't really know the popularity of this show because when I was covering it, I was a lot smaller than I am now, so I don't really have good viewership engagement to go off of, so I have no idea if I'll be covering this one the entire season. All I know is that I love watching it, and jumping right back into this world after not watching much of it. I mean, I binged the OVAs recently, but in terms of Season 1, I haven't touched that since Season 1 ended. So I walked into this thinking, man, I'm gonna be completely lost on a lot of big plot details, but leave it to Magus Bride because what they ended up doing was they used flashback in a clever enough way that it refreshes all the big points you need to remember, from curses to big events that the show may have ended on or characters that impacted Chise's life. And by just quickly highlighting those in a very beautiful sense, the directing choice in this episode, it's mostly characters sitting around talking, but from the upshots that show you characters' perspectives and different views, I mean, they just know how to keep you invested. And honestly, I leave episode 1 saying, give me this college arc, I'm interested. There's so many new characters, there's characters that seem sly, pretty much everyone feels like they have their own agenda. Who's gonna be friend, who's gonna be foe, and for a girl who was so bullied her entire life, I mean, what is this school life gonna be? The ending song more or less teases who probably are gonna be her two best friends, seemingly the girl she catches at the end of the episode and also her roommate, but besides that, it's anyone's guess. Now, I do have a full live reaction to episode 1 of season 2 available on my Patreon, so if you are interested in seeing that, you can head on over there and consider supporting. If I don't continue this on the main channel, I will be continuing it no matter what in reaction format over on Patreon, so just saying, if you do want to see more Magus Bride reviews, smash that like and let me know in the comments, because otherwise, there's just no point because of how packed this anime season is. But on a personal note, I love watching this, so hopefully we can keep on talking. Now, like I said, this episode's pretty much talking, but if you remember season 1, while it did have explosive moments, there was dark moments, there was emotionally gripping moments, but at the end of the day, Magus Bride is a show about talking, connecting with the characters, feeling what they're feeling. So the thing that's always really hooked me in about this show is that it has a directing style that is very different. It was different when it aired 5-6 years ago, and it still feels different now. I love the fact that the intro shot to this episode is this first-person camera perspective, and we're just flying through tunnels. There's this weird magical animation going on, and I don't know what I'm seeing, and it just immediately is like, okay, point me to an episode that's aired in the past few seasons that did exactly that in the way it did. No, Magus Bride knows how to get you invested, and you can look at whether it was the intro when they're all talking about Chise going to school, whether she's sitting on Elias's lap and just the way they'll do like side angle perspectives. I mean, what can you really do visually in order to make something engaging when characters are sitting around talking? Well, I guess you could throw a battlefield in their backdrop, but would that fit narratively? No. So what they do is they constantly shift up the perspective of how the viewers are looking as characters are talking. And for me personally, it keeps me engaged. While I love listening to what the characters are saying, you do have to keep the viewers engaged visually, and there's only so much you can do, and honestly, I feel like Ancient Magus Bride doesn't miss a beat. And one of the key signature pieces that really ties an episode like this together is the musical score. There's at least 4 or 5, I think probably 5's a safe number to say, of just different points throughout the episode. Whether it's the moment when she enters the room she's going to be staying in, and her first impression is smacking a door into her roommate's face. Honestly, it went better than I was expecting. I thought she's going to be kind of like that queen bee, I'm better than you kind of bee attitude, if you know what I'm saying. But ultimately, what they ended up doing was, it's like this dramatic piano piece that almost feels off key, but it's just like, it kind of goes and then it just hits the keys real hard. I think it's the perfect piece of music for something after that awkward, if not tense atmosphere, or the number of pieces that just feel like it captures the magical wonder mood / ominous mystery of where a season like this can go. Like I said, it feels like everyone more or less has their own agenda, but honestly, it was nice to see Elias, a character who is the farthest thing from being human. The idea of when he was talking about how, like, when it gets brought up, you know, I'm surprised you don't just follow in the shadows. And he brings up the fact that the last time that happened That being in season 1, of course. Basically, he felt something. He has no organs. He's not human. There's nothing about him that's living or breathing, yet he felt something like it was in the pit of his stomach, more or less. And the concept of fear and how he doesn't want to experience that. There's these little moments that just, for me anyway, remind me of why I love these characters. It's an interesting setting. I mean, literally, this show has fun with the magical wonder, if not, what am I looking at wonder. The first moment in this college is this woman who, I mean, at first I just thought it was kind of like a scarf or like a dress or something. Seemingly she has roots all over her body and she's growing roses and she like plucks one off and gives it to Chise, and I'm like, honestly, to me, I'm a little weirded out. Like, flowers aren't gross, but there's something about that concept that's just weird. But leave it to the show whether we have Bone Daddy Elias over here or rose-petaled grandma. I mean, whatever they're doing, it's working. The key moment, though, has to be the nurse's office. Just that caterpillar design, it was weird, but I'm interested. It has like 4 arms, but at first I kind of just assumed it was a costume, because when you naturally see someone wearing something that looks like a onesie that's just rather big, but then you start seeing it move around, I mean, this show has some weird character designs, but that's part of the charm. It makes it feel like it's not a normal world, it's without a doubt the Ancient Magus Bride world. And honestly, it's hard not to be invested. They have some interesting moments, like initially, like during that conversation as she's talking about her memories and everything that's happened over the course of season 1 and her life in general. Someone was listening in. At first, I thought it was Elias, just because the way they framed it, to me anyway, it kind of looked like a tall person zooming in, but no, like ran away, and obviously that's going to be interesting to see where it goes. They literally end this episode with a kind of funny moment, but it's kind of sad. She basically ends up catching someone who, like I said, seemingly will probably be a close friend of hers at this school. And she's like, I have no idea what to do because I'm usually the one being caught. And I'm like, okay, that's the most Chise thing ever. I really enjoy that. Opening and endings were good. I think I prefer the opening overall. The ending song to me just felt like the instrumentals were a little too high in terms of how high the vocalist was singing, but I really like what the intro did. It was definitely one of my stronger picks in terms of opening of the season, and I really enjoyed what they did in terms of hooking me back in after not thinking about this series too much. I love season 1. I thought season 1 was masterclass. But there's so many anime I watch, and I always was hoping we'd see a season 2. That's mainly why I didn't really look at the OVAs until because originally I was like, oh, they did an OVA, and then a year or two goes by and I'm like, wait, there's like 3 OVAs now? What's going on here, right? But I love how this show just immediately remind me why I personally love this show and why I personally love talking about it. It has moments of darkness, it has moments of wholesome, moments of funny, but it also just has moments of, wow, this feels brutally real for the world that they're in, and Chise as a character, you just want to see the best happen for her as we wonder where Elias as a character can go from here. I mean, he casually mentions, there's moments where you just zoom in and he has such murderous intent and he's like, hey, I don't feel like killing. And I'm like, okay, my boy, I guess that's progress, but it's a pretty great episode. Though the cats were, they made me feel disturbed. I'm a cat person, I love cats, but man, this one cat in particular, the fatter one, the yellowish orangish tinge, there was something about the face of that one. It always had squinty eyes, and I'm like, if Chise picks that cat, I swear to God we're gonna get stabbed in the back. Seemingly she picked the nicest looking one, but at the same time it just feels like they had their own agendas, and I'm interested to see what's gonna happen with the whole cat situation, and if we're gonna have a cat versus dog moment at some point given our canine friend. But I enjoyed this first episode. What did you think? Let me know down below, and if you want to see me continue reviewing this one on the channel, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Be sure to also ring that bell, of course, so you can get notified when I upload on the channel, and as I mentioned, we do have that full live reaction available on my Patreon. So, till next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.